On today's show, things are looking a bit different. I'm going to be interviewing the man behind the mic, Joe Robert. He's going to tell us how he got started in the investing world, his time in Puerto Rico for the Act 20 and 22 decrees, and how his podcast is going to help you become a more successful entrepreneur. So let's get right down to business. This is the host of your show, Jen Robert. Joe's obviously my husband of 4.5 years, and while I know a lot about him, his investing career still maintains a mystery to me. I'm excited to get a better understanding of what led him to where he is today, and my hope is that you will as well. On the real estate side, Joe has invested in over 100 residential properties, 40 plus commercial properties, wholesaled over 25 properties, 350 plus first mortgages, 2,500 plus second position mortgages, and in multifamily syndications. In the tech sector, he has invested in venture blockchain funds, startups, and owns a crypto portfolio, all while trying to save as much in taxes as possible. Man, you've done a lot.
Trying.
All right. So tell me how you got started and why you've never worked a 9 to 5.
Why I got started?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question.
I know. That's why I asked it.
Sometimes it's been so long ago, I can't always figure it out. But why I got started? Jesus. This one needs some good editing.
Hard-hitting questions.
I guess as a young kid, I always wanted to be independent and take care of myself. I don't work a 9 to 5 job because I didn't want to be controlled by other people. I want to be able to do what I want to do on my own time. Just as a young kid, I always just was working for myself, finding odd jobs, trying to make money, and that really wasn't available in a 9 to 5 while you're going through school. So, when I was younger, I started, finding odd jobs around the neighborhood, including mowing lawns, shoveling snow, and landscape jobs. And that kind of started everything off.
In high school, you started doing it, right?
In high school.
So you've never worked for somebody else?
In high school. It might even be in middle school. Even maybe, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't even know my time frame. I got to get back to you on that one.
God, you're old. Okay. So you started in note investing. You were doing that when I met you out in Willow Grove. What is it, and why have you been so successful in the note industry field?
Life is all about timing.
And a box of chocolates?
Yeah. And being at the right place in the right time is usually what leads to success. It was a specific real estate deal I was working on in Philadelphia that one of my private lenders decided he was going to move his money into note investing, and therefore it piqued my interest. And I showed up to one of the local meetups and started learning about note investing for a few months, and was very intrigued by essentially what's called being the bank, being the owner of debt where other people owe you money and are supposed to make payments to you. Versus being on the other side where a lot of times real estate investors actually have a lot of loans out, and therefore they owe banks and other people money.
So you want to be a bank?
Yes, definitely wanted to be a bank. And, also coming out of the 2000s, we'll call it real estate crash that we've seen here in the US, I think it was more important that you didn't over leverage, and it was more sexy to be on the other side and actually have the people owe you money.
So you like when people have to pay you?
Yep.
And so besides notes, you also invest in real estate?
Correct.
And we have properties in the other banks now?
Correct.
You just started that. How's that?
That's going well. That's going well. That's more of a lifestyle hobby investing, at the current moment. We used to invest back there in the 2000s. We've gone as a family to the Outer Banks forever since I was born. So we have a connection and roots there. And, it's just a place that is always, in my heart, I guess.
Home?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you also invest in cryptocurrency, in the Bitcoin. So how do you think the current crisis, be whatever it is at the moment, is going to affect the crypto, the stock, and the markets?
It's a crazy world we live in right now. We don't know where anything's going. All predictions seem to be off. Fed's printing money. In theory, people are going to want to move to digital assets. I think that's just a natural transition with tech. We're moving to a digital world, to a remote world. We're going to see that with remote working. And when it comes to digital assets or Bitcoin, when you can control your own currencies or assets in your own wallet, I think that's going to become more important, especially if we start seeing banks or other institutions across the world start seizing assets.
And so you do believe that the cryptocurrency is the kind of currency of the future. And why do you think everything's going to go digital as opposed to where it is now?
I believe cryptocurrency will evolve into different types of currencies and be used for different things. You know, what the final end product, or maybe what would be known as the digital dollar, may actually be created by the Fed here in the US. So I think all digital currencies are going to have their own different unique role to play in the market.
So you think in the near future, instead of handing someone dollar bills, we're going to walk up with our phone and just...
Yeah, I mean, it might even, I'm sure at some point it'll go further than a phone, you know, maybe it's just a chip, but
the chip in my arm or something.
maybe just in the watch. But yeah, definitely. I mean, we're already pretty much there. I mean, just look at Apple Pay and Google Pay and everything else. I mean, we're, you know, the only thing that's really holding us back is older generations and government.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we're seeing in China how they have everything integrated so they could track everybody and their expenses. So if you just look at China, that's where we're going to evolve to.
So that leads me to my next thing. You made me think of when we lived in Puerto Rico and the Easy Pass was smaller and you could pay at the gas pump with your phone and all stuff like that. So that leads me into, what about our time in Puerto Rico? So you moved down there in October of 2014.
Yeah.
And what is the Act 2022 decrease?
So Puerto Rico enacts tax incentives to lure businesses and entrepreneurs and investors to the island to help spur economic growth. So what they put into effect basically is that Act 22 is 0% capital gain tax if you're a resident of Puerto Rico. That means you have to reside there more than 183 days of the year. You have to have your home, your mailing address, your voting card, a automobile, and so forth, and live in Puerto Rico for more than 183 days a year. At that point, you could take part of Act 22. And Act 22 will allow you, when you're investing in stocks or the sale of company or any Puerto Rico-based assets, when it comes to capital gain tax, to take a 0% tax rate. Act 20 will allow you to reside in Puerto Rico in your business to export services outside of Puerto Rico to other companies, your company, and bring that income back into Puerto Rico and pay a 4% corporate tax rate. And after you pay the 4% corporate tax rate, there's no other tax rate paid to you as long as you're a resident.
And coming up on your interview list, you're going to interview Giovanni Mendez. He's going to be able to explain it better and give everyone more information on that, correct?
Correct. Giovanni is a all-star lawyer there who does a lot of the work for all the people that are coming into Puerto Rico for the Act decrees.
And was it hard to decide to move down there, or where, or what did you do?
Well, when I first decided I wanted to move down, I went on the internet, found a broker, went down there and looked at a few properties, signed a lease that week, and just took action and moved down just within a couple months.
She's an awesome broker. We can hook people up with her too.
Yeah.
What types of people or families would you recommend moving down there?
I mean, really, the Act decrees are available for anybody and everybody. And, you know, those that are really looking to save tax dollars, looking to join a community that's very friendly, live on an island, you know, surrounded by the water every day and warm weather, you know, it's going to be a fit for you.
It was pretty awesome down there. All tax savings aside, we kind of drove around on a golf cart, drank, laid on the beach, met some awesome people.
Yeah.
Drank some rum.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. What drawbacks of anything did you learn from your time there? What did you learn while you were there? Biggest life lesson.
Biggest life lesson. We'll definitely need a pause on that. Biggest life lesson.
Yeah. What was your one takeaway from life down there? So we were down there. We were down there with our oldest. Well, it was just you and I. We were down there with our oldest, and then for about a couple months with our youngest. Would you recommend it to families? With small kids, would you recommend it to more entrepreneurs, singles?
I recommend to everybody is, go down there and spend a little bit of time and see for yourself. I mean, that's the best way. I mean, everyone has a different outcome on where they live, and some people like certain amenities, some people don't mind. It's definitely a relaxing lifestyle and a lot slower pace. So you got to, go and experience it for yourself.
There's a different part of the island for everybody, right?
Yep. Yep.
So you always say health and wealth and all this good stuff. So why is that, health and wealth together mindset so important to you?
Why is it so important? Jesus, me.
I know. Hard-hitting questions over here.
Well, I think that's because we're getting old.
You're getting old.
Yeah, we're getting older, right? And I think as you get older and you mature into yourself, you learn a lot of life lessons, and you realize how fast life goes by, and therefore how much more important it is to take care of your mind and body so you can live as long as possible, and be aware of everything that's going on and stay investing in things and being smart and keep learning. When you're young, you just tend to party a lot, drink a lot, and enjoy life a little without too much direction.
What do you do to, besides what you do for your wealth, but what do you do for your health, your mental, your physical? What is your?
Well, for my health, I mean, occasional kiteboarding when I could get to the beach. Recently got back into roller hockey. I used to play a lot when I was a teenager. That was one of my favorite sports. So I signed back up right before this lockdown, and unfortunately that got on pause, but it'll pick back up after they open up. And I also, typically walk about 80% of the days. Most days that's all, nice weather, and get out and walk for an hour and a half and just clear the mind and go through emails and take in some education from YouTube, since it's a great source. Obviously, that's hopefully why you're tuning in today.
Playing soccer with the boys out back.
Playing soccer with the boys out back.
So speaking of family, so we're married. But why is family, your, biological family, us family, your friends' family, why are they so important to your success in your life?
I'd say everybody needs a support system in their life, and everyone needs at least family, friends, somebody to go through with the journey on, someone there to discuss about what's going on, go over certain deals. I feel like I'm just ranting there.
You're not.
Fuck, cut me off too much. We gotta make it short, easy. Good.
Are you done talking about your family?
I guess for now.
Okay. So your future, what are your goals or our goals, and how are we going to achieve them?
Well, our goals are definitely to acquire more real estate assets over the next 10 years. Stay invested in tech, venture, startups, and investing in crypto, as we think that's just an emerging trend. And these are the types of assets that typically will have the highest return over a period of time.
Do we have any other goals together? Is that we're just going to take over the world?
Well, we obviously are trying to build out some IP here.
What's IP?
Intellectual property.
Intellectual property, everybody.
These videos are IP.
Oh, these videos are IP. See what I meant about you learned something?
So we want to build out our own IP and, our own digital assets. And I think that's great to add to the family legacy. I think there's so much money to be made on the internet that, you don't have to be one direction, that you're just investing in real estate, you're just investing here. You could have a few different things. And as long as you're having fun along the way, who cares? And
now I know in your future interviews, you'll interview Fuquan, and he'll talk about teaching his kids the business. So is that your plan, to teach our kids the business? And how do you want to go about doing that?
Definitely. I think it's very important. They need a little time to grow. They got to get the ABCs and the numbers down. So you got to be a little patient, but it's very important. I think one, to bring them on the job, meaning show them what you're doing, take them out to look at properties. Two, take them to conferences, just expose them to what life is all about. Get them up on stage and speak so they're better than me. And that's it. Just, bring them into the daily life, take them out there. It's not too hard. I think most people learn by being on the job. All right. So I think we touched on everything. We kind of quick glanced over notes and stocks and crypto and our act decree in Puerto Rico and health and wealth and family.
our future. What is one last piece of advice or one last tidbit that you want people to know about you? Your tax savings?
Well, definitely, compound returns over a long period of time, minimizing taxes, and just making moves periodically will lead you to a lot of success. And I mean that, everyone just looks at Warren Buffett and they always talk about him, but it just purely shows you what can happen over 50 or 80 years. And, just taking action today and moving forward is what's going to get you there.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in for this interview with Joe Robert. Hopefully we'll have more in the future. Keep tuning in for his future interviews, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching my latest interview. If you like what you saw, please click the subscribe button below to become a member of the Joe Robert community. Be sure to hit the bell to turn on all notifications so you always know when I post a new video. Tell me what you thought about the content in the comments below. I always read them and would love to answer any of your questions.